administration. Here to react is Army combat veteran and former DOD advisor under President Trump, Cory Mills, who's also running for Congress in Florida in this very district that represents the Daytona 500. Cory, great to see you.
Pleasure to see you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for you.
You're watching all this stuff in Ukraine. You're watching how the Biden administration is talking about it. What's your takeaway right now?
Well, I mean, look, this is a conglomeration of mistakes. I mean, from a foreign policy perspective, you've got a guy who could have stepped in a lot earlier and started looking at things like the sanctioning of Nord Stream 2, started looking at the 1990s agreement, which was the Budapest Memorandum that was signed by the Federation of Russia and Ukraine and the UK, et cetera. And he simply did nothing, which seems to be exactly what status quo is on this administration. I mean, we saw the botched withdrawal in Afghanistan. We've seen how they try to rejoin JCPOA. What we're looking at right now is a complete deterioration of the U.S. national security. And Vladimir Putin knows that this administration is weak because he saw this in 2014 when he annexed Crimea, when he took over Donetsk, and literally the Biden and Obama administration, which this is just the Obama 2.0
That's how they
model.
see it, right?
That's exactly how they see it. And then keep in mind, they wouldn't even provide lethal aid for anti-tank like javelins, things like that we used to have in the military. So they were saying, oh, well, we'll provide blankets, we'll provide all these things. They literally opened the door for Vladimir Putin to take it. So why wouldn't he continue to go ahead and push the envelope? But the bigger picture here is the Russia-China-Iran linkage here.
Yeah.
We have to look at the ideas that this is a great superpower resurgence, and America is not on the table for actually being part of that.
Yeah, in fact, they want to push us off the table. That's their entire goal. The whole architecture of the way the free world has operated since World War II is something they fundamentally reject.
That's exactly right.
And they want to change that. That's why we need guys like you kicking around and holding people accountable in Washington, D.C. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, last time I saw you, you were in an undisclosed location in or near Afghanistan, interviewing you on the show, because you've been actively involved in trying to repair the sin that was the withdrawal there. And we're grateful for everything you've done on that. Well, the Pentagon's not a new IG report about Afghan refugees in the United States. And I want to read a portion of that report and get you to react, Cory, because you know it so well. Here's a portion of the report. It says National Ground Intelligence Center personnel had identified 50 Afghan personnel in the United States with information in DOD records that would indicate potentially significant security concerns. NGIC personnel stated that they could not locate some Afghan refugees when attempting to report derogatory information to the DOD. So they're talking about 50 people that shouldn't be in the United States. Number is likely higher than that. Now, as we step back from that evacuation, what do you know? Where are we?
Well, I think that we've already established the fact that it's a lot more than 50. We got 1.7 million illegals into the country right now, right? So, for example, we've got 200 Russians that just came in and 300, Ukrainians who just came in this month of December. So what we're looking at now is that this was political optics over ground strategy. You and I know military. We know ground strategy. We should have held Bagram Air Base. We could have housed 40,000+ people on that air base. We had force protection completely around. We could have run simultaneous, casts out of both Bagram and over HKaya, and we simply handed it over. And that's what enabled, one, the 13 service members that was reported killed, but also the entire fallback of being able to cancel all the commercial flights for Americans who actually had flights to get out. So they actually, captured them there. And then instead of getting Americans and the SIV and the interpreters who supported us, they wanted to have political optics to say, we have the greatest operational airlift in history.
Yeah, they said
didn't
that time
care
and time again.
who they put on. So we got 83,000 people who came to America who were not vetted, who were not secured, who did not go through biometrics, who did not go through medical. And again, it was the greatest airlift operations in history. So
you're saying, as someone who's on the ground, it was all a numbers game. It was all to be able to say, how many people can we push through? We don't know who they are. And now they're in the United States.
It was 100% a numbers game. And bear in mind this. After I rescued a mother and her 3 children, we conducted the very first successful overland rescue out of Afghanistan of Americans. The State Department and the DOD tried to thwart our efforts on 3 different occasions. At one occasion, they actually threatened to shoot down our aircraft, which is a November tail number, American tail number. Once we proved the concept, they had to get people out. So what did they turn to do? They turned to people like Commander Donahue and others and said, get numbers on planes. Yeah. And so at that stage, they started loading C-5s, loading C-17s, getting any green and gray tails that they could out of the air, out of the airspace.
Yep.
But it was all about optics. It was never about helping Americans. It was never about helping our allies.
It's crazy. Well, Cory, thanks for your role in trying to get the good guys out, even if a lot of the rest of it was completely botched. And good luck in your race, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I
also had something for you, by the way, I wanted to throw out, which is my NASCAR Mills 22 shirt.
I like that. I like that. I mean, if you represent Daytona, you better do it right.
Absolutely.
We'll wear this proudly. You got one for Will and Rachel.
I got one for Will and Rachel as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cory Mills. Thank you, brother.
Thanks so much, Pete.
All right.